Mi la sol latino. Hi, folks, it's me. It's your favorite rambler, your favorite yap artist. We're back. I've got another little ramble video for you guys today. If you guys are enjoying these, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. You're going to get a lot of these over the course of the NBA offseason, and especially as we lead up to the draft. And that's exactly what I'm talking about today because, for whatever reason, I think it's partially because I was supposed to be going to Europe and I was going to be gone during the NBA draft. So I wasn't getting super hyped up for it. I think it was also because, I still have as a Mavericks fan, I still have this feeling deep down where it's let me be a little bit careful. I don't want to get too ahead of myself with some of these things anymore in regards to Cooper Flagg. But as we approach the draft, I think we're 9 days away now at this point. I can't help but get excited. And folks, I'm starting to get so excited about Cooper Flagg. I've watched more and more. I've watched entire games of his. I've watched so many of his possessions at this point, probably well over half of his possessions, which isn't a lot. I'm not an expert. I'm not a draft expert or anything like that. I do a big board every year. It's usually fucking terrible, but I usually just do it for fun. But there's something about this kid, man, that I'm getting so excited about. And as he gets closer and closer, I can't help but feel so good about it. Cooper Flagg had an official meeting with the Dallas Mavericks today. It was the first time, I believe, that I'm aware of that they've had a meeting, a private workout, whatever the case may be. Mark Stein on the DLLS Mavs podcast said that rumbles are that Cooper Flagg is excited that he's being drafted to a team that isn't a bottom feeder. It is one that can be competitive. How about that, huh? Now, there was this ongoing narrative, and I think people just did it because everyone cries. If you haven't noticed now, this is just how everyone is when it comes to basketball discourse and really sports discourse in general. It's just crying. That's literally all it is. It's crying, constant fucking crying, bitching, and complaining about anything. Usually it's officiating, but now it's just literally crying about literally everything that there is. I think people are upset that the Mavs won the lottery for obvious reasons, right? Because, I understand. If I'm a Jazz fan, I got to look at the Mavs fan base, which we were going crazy. It's we deserve this. We've needed this for so long. If I'm a Hornets fan, I'm like, what? You deserve? I've had nothing my whole life. Kemba Walker's the greatest player that's ever played for my team. What do you mean? So I understand that. I get that. I do. But one of the takes that was going around was that the Mavericks were one of the worst fits for Cooper Flagg. That they were just one of the worst fits in the entire lottery. This was something that was even being said before the lottery results. And it's hard for me to try and articulate this or push back against that opinion because it is going to sound a little slightly biased. But I think that's so incorrect. In fact, I think Cooper Flagg's landing in one of the absolute best situations for him. And I feel that way even more so the more I watch of his, the more I read up on his, the more stats I look into, only because it's this perfect opportunity for him to come into a franchise that is going to be competitive, that is going to try and win, that does have solid competitive players on the roster, championship level players on the roster, all NBA level players on the roster. It fits his skill set so well, and it's going to give him the opportunity to develop as an ultimate team guy, an ultimate glue guy, a do-it-all Swiss Army knife that is the best possible outcome for him that fits his skill set to a T. This guy who's just a great connective playmaker, a guy who can create for teammates, just an all-around great teammate, great help defender, fantastic weak side rim protector, all of this stuff that he can do. He could really display those with the Mavericks, while also being in this opportunity where the Mavericks do lack some ball handling. I don't know what they're going to do in the summer, but they do lack some ball handling, and there's going to be opportunities for him in high leverage moments for a team that's trying to win, playing alongside really good high-level players and Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving when he comes back, and even really high-level role players like Derek Lively and PJ Washington, even Daniel Gafford, so on and so forth, Najee Marshall, Klay Thompson, that he'll have these on-ball reps, but it won't be in a context God bless him, like Charlotte or like Washington, where it's just dog diarrhea on the floor. You've got four guys just running around not knowing what the fuck's going on. I think about the Jazz. Honest to God, I think about the Jazz and how they've had the slew of guard prospects, and you watch them, and it's they're all so insanely frustrating to watch. But I don't know how much of that is because the context in which they're playing on the floor most nights. You know what I mean? Does that make sense what I'm saying? So because of that, I think it's a great situation for Cooper Flagg to find himself in, and I'm just... I'm so incredibly excited about this. I've been just compiling these highlights, and we're going to go over these. I've got a 3-minute long a little highlight video of just some of my favorite Cooper Flagg offensive possessions. I'm not even looking at defense, offensive possessions that I've seen so far. Because one of the big questions for me is this guy have it? Now, what do I mean when I say it? Does this guy have the juice to be a number one? Right? When you draft the guy number one overall, that's a conversation you have to have with yourself. Does this guy have the juice to be the guy on a team? Not just a team, a championship team. That's a lot to ask out of someone, because realistically speaking, you maybe have 5, 6, 7 of those guys in the league at any given time. Maybe even less than that, truth be told. So that's what I'm really looking for whenever I've been watching him and watching him offensively. And I got to say, man, one of the common go-to things with Flagg is that he's got the safest floor in the draft, and one of the safest floors we've seen from a top prospect in a long time. And that's, you watch 2 seconds of him, and that's clear and obvious. Just how smart he is, how instinctual he is. He does have good athleticism. He's a great connective playmaker. He's a very smart defensive player, great rim protection, good shooting numbers. Like, he's going to be good immediately. But a gripe against him is he might not have the highest ceiling. He might not blow guys out. I think it was, I forgot who it was. Someone was on the Bill Simmons podcast. Russello. It wasn't Russello. But they said that Detlef Shrimp was a good comparison, because you watch Cooper Flagg and he doesn't like blow you away. He doesn't dominate. I got to push back against that, because he did dominate. I mean, he dominated. He dominated at the college level as a guy who entered the season as a 17-year-old. He was 17 years old and dominating guys who are 24. I mean, there's 24, 25, 26-year-olds in fucking college basketball now. You know? So I don't really understand. He did dominate. He literally did dominate. He was the best player in the country as a 17-year-old. So I'm going to show you guys some of these plays and why I watch them, and I'm just like, the critique that his ceiling might not be that high. I don't see how anyone could possibly say that, honestly. After watching him, I'm just like, how the sky feels like it's the limit for this guy. This article right here, I'll link this if I remember. I'll link this in the description. I also retweeted it on my Twitter. It's from, I hope I say this name right, the No Ceilings. No Ceilings always does fantastic draft stuff. But Maxwell Bombach did a really nice article, and I pulled some stats from it, and we're going to look at some of these pictures that he shared, some of these stats, just to sort of go over the season that Cooper Flagg had, and some of the most interesting numbers of his, stats of his, that showcase just how special of a player he's going to be in this league, folks. I'm so excited. Oh, we really did deserve this, man. I feel bad for Charlotte fans and, for Washington fans. They've waited so long for this, but I have to ask the question. Us Mavericks fans, we had it ripped away from us. And it does beg the question, is it better to have loved and lost than to have never have loved at all? Think about it. And if you think it's better, you think it's worse to have loved and lost than it is to have never loved at all, then we did deserve it. We did deserve it. And Nico was right. So let's look at this. This is BPM, box score plus minus. These type of advanced stats, I don't really know, but they're historically, box score plus minus does tell us quite a bit about prospects. Typically, you want it to be, a positive number. There's a lot of correlation between guys who maybe have good counting stats, but their efficiency is low and their box score plus minus is low. I believe Cam Whitmore was in this regard, where a lot of people were very anti Cam Whitmore because his advanced numbers were horrible. And we haven't seen Cam Whitmore do much of anything in the NBA at this point, despite the clear and obvious tools that he has. But if you look at this, nobody really does it like Zion. Zion's freshman season at Duke was just absolutely unbelievable. But you see here by box score plus minus, Cooper Flagg had the 10th best season in the T-rank era in terms of box score plus minus, and this has sort of widely been discussed. It is the 3rd best freshman season on record, trailing only Zion Williamson and Anthony Davis, both guys who had all-time great college seasons, which Cooper Flagg did have as well, and both guys, Zion Williamson and Anthony Davis, who were incredibly hyped, incredible prospects, and also incredible NBA players. Like, Anthony Davis is one of the best players of his generation. And Zion Williamson is, when he's on the floor, he's one of the best players in the NBA. He's just never on the fucking floor for one reason or another. So Cooper Flagg has that going for him. Again, if you compare him, in this article, Bombach compared him to similar players of his archetype, his size, his skill set, and things along those lines. And I mean, just comparing him to some of these guys, again, Zion was kind of a one-of-one freak, right? And then you have Cooper Flagg, and just kind of looking at some of these numbers. I mean, these are all tremendous seasons. Ben Simmons, Ben Simmons was such a highly touted prospect that I was actually watching something recently where people were going over who was the better prospect, Cooper Flagg or blank, and Ben Simmons got there, and someone said Ben Simmons was a better prospect, which is funny, but Ben Simmons was supposed to be that guy. He was supposed to be Magic Johnson. That was the fucking comp Ben Simmons had. But I find it interesting that compared to his contemporaries, Cooper Flagg's defensive box score plus minus is number 1, tied with Zion, interestingly enough, which we know Zion's defense was never really going to translate to the NBA. I think we kind of knew that at the time. But just kind of interesting to look at there. Now, here's some more interesting numbers, just diving deep into his offensive numbers, his offensive skill set, and his efficiency. I think one of the things that's blown me away the most, and I think it's blown a lot of, from what I've heard, listening to podcasts, listening to scouting reports and stuff, one of the things that's blown a lot of people away who really follow college basketball was just how involved Cooper Flagg was in Duke's offense. And even so much more than that, how often it felt like Cooper Flagg was Duke's offense. Because that wasn't really going to be the selling point for him coming into it. It felt coming into his freshman year that there was room to improve offensively for Flagg, and that, the hope was that we saw good shooting numbers and we saw that playmaking and the connective playmaking on full display. But he just kind of turned into one of the best offensive players in the country, and just the engine for Duke's offense at times, which, when you go back and you watch some of these games, the amount of ball screens he's getting, they're just straight up running the entire offense through him. And the numbers that he put up and the efficiency in which he did it, it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. I don't know. I don't know how you could put a cap on the ceiling. I don't know how you could sit there and say, I don't know if this guy will ever be a number 1 option on the team. I don't know how you could say that definitively. It's easy to say he won't be because, again, not a lot of guys are. Just look at this. Look at the list right here, right? Look at these list of players. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit on it. Okay, great. That's good. Look at the players right here. This is comparing usage to efficiency and how many points they score per 100 possessions. You see Cooper Flagg, of the kind of contemporaries that Baumbach had here. Second highest usage behind Jaylen Brown. See, he's one of the more efficient of the group. And just in terms of pure productivity, scoring-wise, the second most points per 100 possessions out of this group of guys. Look at this group of guys right here. You've got All-NBA players in Jaylen Brown. You got Finals MVP in Jaylen Brown. You've got All-Stars up and down the board. What's interesting, though, when you look at this list, how many of these guys would you definitively say are, yep, absolutely number 1s on championship teams? Set and forget. We don't have to have this debate. I honestly don't think any of them are. You have Tatum, right? Which Tatum, obviously won a championship as the best player. You have Jaylen Brown, who won a Finals MVP. But interestingly enough, I don't know if any of these guys are guys that you comfortably say are number 1 options on championship teams, which is kind of interesting to think about, right? Just this sort of archetype of player. Some of the stuff that's the most interesting to me, and I'm gonna get more to this whenever we go over some highlights here in a bit, which I hope I can do, because college basketball is they're tyrannical with this stuff. You thought Silver was bad. Who's even in charge of college basketball? Do they have a commissioner? Because I'm trying to think. Whenever I get copyright stuff, who is that? Is it just a broadcasting partners? The 3-point shooting numbers for Flagg. This was one of his biggest concerns. Concern might be a strong word, but one of his biggest areas of improvement heading from being a high schooler to going to college was his shooting. We really didn't know. We were not entirely sure what Cooper Flagg would be as a jump shooter, if that shot was going to be reliable. And not only was it reliable, it was pretty damn good. He had a little bit rough start to the season. I believe in conference play, he was 44% from 3, something along those lines. But he's 39% on catch and shoot threes. And I think what's most exciting to me is the scope of the threes that he was hitting at Duke. It wasn't just stand in the corner, I'm shooting catch and shoot threes, or I'm just going to stand above the key and wait for Proctor to break down the defense and kick it out to me and I'm going to hit a 3. He was 10 of 23 coming off of screens, nearly 50% off of screens, so some real movement shooting upside, 6 of 15 in transition, those transition pull-up threes. And I think the most exciting number to me personally, 40% on 32 pull-up 3 attempts. Off the dribble, 40%. And I'll show you guys some clips here in a bit. Just looks incredibly comfortable shooting off of the dribble. Which again, if you're trying to project somebody to be a number 1 option offensively, especially in today's NBA, where that has to be a prerequisite. If you're going to get a bunch of ball screens as a ball handler, you have to be able to shoot off the dribble. You have to, unless you are a freak 1-of-1 athlete, which Cooper Flagg is not. And he has shown huge flashes of that as a freshman who, again, entered the season as a 17-year-old. So that makes me incredibly excited. Now, there's some other offensive stuff with him. His finishing numbers weren't the greatest just in terms of efficiency. 55% at the rim. I think it says right here. 50% at, where is he? It was 50% if it doesn't have it. 55% at the rim. I believe it's 50% on half-court layups is the number that I found pretty interesting, which isn't the most efficient. And somebody at his size, I think you'd want it to be a little bit higher. I mean, look at Zion. Holy fuck, man. 73% at the rim. Unbelievable. Actually unreal. OG at 70. God damn. You would like that number to be a little bit higher for Flagg. But I think what I feel so good about with him is the fact that he does get to the rim very frequently. He is an aggressive driver. One thing that he really needs to work on, and hey, maybe playing on with Kyrie Irving will help him out here. Maybe being on a team with an assistant coach, one of the assistant coaches being Sham God will help him out here quite a bit. His handle does need to improve. It's very basic right now. You're not going to see too many, machine gun dribbles, high level dribble moves, snatch back. Like he doesn't have that deep of a bag right now and not that many counters, which I think is a reason why his numbers at the rim are a little underwhelming. But I think he could get there. And he's a physical player. That's one thing I loved about him. Again, 17, 18 years old. He's not afraid to use his body. He's very smart when using his body, bump the little shoulder bumps to create space, absorbing contact. And I think just looking at his frame, this is like, can we talk about this? How kind of strange it is when you look at draft guys and you're just looking at their bodies and you're like, that guy's going to fill it. Like it's almost a little bit creepy. Like you're talking about a 17, 18-year-old and it's like, that guy's going to look out. Few years. Woo-hoo. A little bit strange to look at it that way. I guess I just made it strange. It's probably not strange at all, but I think I just made it strange. But his ability to finish at the rim, I think, is something he needs to improve on, and he will. But I think he has the body to become a very strong player. Like that's one of my takeaways with him. He already plays big, and he already plays strong. It's kind of interesting looking at his measurements because he's not as tall measurement-wise as it feels like he is when you watch him play. But yeah, man, I think he's going to figure some of this stuff out. That's the numbers and stuff offensively that I'm a little bit concerned about is the handle, and that gets him into some troublesome spots. But also the playmaking stuff. I mean, this is the stuff when it comes to being the best player, the number one guy, the go-to offensive guy on a team. There has to be a level of playmaking there, right? It goes without being said. His playmaking is so fucking impressive. It's the most impressive stuff about his offensive game. Like the scoring is a lot more advanced than I think a lot of people expected. The playmaking just jumps out immediately. Where even if he doesn't tap into being a number one overall guy, even if the handle never really gets there, and hey, maybe even the shot kind of dips a little bit, and he's just kind of a middle of the road shooter rather than around a 40% 3-point shooter. And his offensive production is just not enough to be considered like a top 5, top 10 player in the league. His connective playmaking is going to translate to the NBA immediately, and it's going to make him an impactful player no matter what. Like, that's just kind of where we're at with that. He will be an impactful player offensively no matter what happens because of that connective playmaking ability that he does have. This is what John Shire, the Duke coach, had to say. He was on Russello's podcast. To score from 3 at the rim and the ability to create his own shot with his shiftiness, handle, and just natural instincts, I think he's going to be one of the best scorers in the NBA in time. This is what we like to see right there. That's what we like to see. What do we think Russello's opinion on the Mavs winning the lottery was? Yeah, I mean, look, it's clearly, I don't want to say it's rigged, but I also don't want to say it's not rigged. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I've heard GMs texted me. They said this has to be one of the most rigged lottery results we've ever seen. But I also had another GM text me and say, this is just how it works. This is just how math goes. Do you guys know math? Like, that's the question I have to ask. But really, I don't know. It's up in the air. I have to do a little bit more research. I'm not sure. It could be one or both ways. Let's look at some highlights because I put together some of my favorite ones. So he is a very good athlete. I think some of his measurable stuff at the combine, and I'm really hopeful that NCAA doesn't clap the fuck out of this video because I'm showing highlights now. But I think some of his measurable stuff at the combine, that's a nasty move right there, man. That's a nasty move. His measurables in terms of athleticism weren't like that eye-popping, but you watch him play, and it's very functional, right? That's kind of what you want in an NBA athlete. You want an NBA athlete to be functional. All of the combine jumping numbers are cool, But if you can't translate that to an NBA setting, then why the fuck does it matter? You know what I mean? Why does it matter? Wait, we lost a clip in here. He had a nasty hesitation that I had in here. But you see his athleticism on full display, his size on full display when he's getting down court. And this is some of the stuff that you see right here. And you'll see the flashes of it, like that right there. The movement shooting, the coming off of screens, the finding open spots on the floor, cutting. He's going to be a great off-ball player immediately, offensively. And it's kind of why I said I love him being in Dallas. I think it's such a good fit, even though people would say otherwise. And yeah, I'm a little bit slightly biased. Like, it is what it is. I don't give a fuck. That's just the truth. A big reason why I think it's great is you're going to play alongside a guy like Kyrie Irving, who draws so much attention as a guard, especially with the driving threat that Kyrie Irving poses. Defense is always playing the gaps on Kyrie. That's going to leave shooters open. Anthony Davis is somebody who gets double teamed all the time in the post, and that leads to open kickouts to guys. Cooper Flagg is going to get, I don't know, depending on how many minutes he plays, 2, 3, maybe 4 open threes a game just off of kickouts from those guys. And having the ability to knock down those threes. Not only that, but he's smart and instinctual enough to get to the open spot on the floor, to read the defense, to float to the open spot, to relocate after passing. There's plenty of possessions I saw of him doing that, relocating after a pass and hitting a three. And the ability to shoot off of screens and pin downs is such an important skill set to have on a team like this. And we go back to, I'm going to talk about this here in a second, about the idea of the Mavs blowing it up. But we go back to him learning off of Kyrie, him learning stuff from AD. The Mavs also have Klay Thompson, who's arguably the best off-ball shooter in the history of the sport. So a lot of things he can learn from a guy like that. And the shot's going to be important, right? Again, it was around 40% at the college level. That's respectable. Defenses are going to have to guard that and account for that. And I do think his shot looks good enough. His free throw numbers are great, that his shot will translate to the NBA, at least to the point where defenses have to account for his shooting ability. And that's where his ability as a straight line driver are going to become huge. His ability to attack closeouts and drive to the rim. Like I said, his finishing numbers at the rim are maybe a little underwhelming, 55%. Not horrific, but a little underwhelming. But he does a great job getting to the rim. And he uses his speed, his athleticism, and also his instinct. Just a very smart driver. Understanding driving angles. This is, again, I have to say this again. This is a fucking 17-year-old kid entering the season. And he makes plays like he's 24 years old and been playing in the AAC for 6 years, 7 years. How long do they get to play in college now? Like 10 years? But the ability to attack angles and read defenders, look at that shot right there. Now we get to the mid-range jumpers. So this is another area of concern a little tiny bit, right? He's shown flashes of being a 3-level scorer. Guys in college show flashes all the time. I saw a clip going around of I'm getting there with these guys' names. I promise you, I've been really doing draft stuff. Malawak, a pretty hilarious clip of him at a summer tournament doing fadeaway jumpers, and everyone's like, I don't know, man, if he can tap into this, like we always do this, where all you have to do as a college player, as a prospect, is hit one mid-range jumper. One. That's it. And everyone's like, dude, I don't know. If he taps into this, like it might be a thing for him. Flagg did shoot 33% on pull-up twos. So not efficient in this department, but similar to his driving numbers, he did it. He did it at a pretty high clip, just in terms of frequency. And you watch the process, and there's something there. Again, it's his ability to use his body as well is on full display here. Like that little bump right there. Hot topic debate, these bumps and these little off-arm shoves to generate space, especially for mid-range jumpers, right? Like if I'm going to be honest with you guys, I know my audience. If Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did that, you guys would have 6-paragraph long comments crying about it in my replies. That's just the truth. But there is some upside there. Showed a decent amount of upside as like a face-up player. And again, using his body to bump, create space. That's a beautiful move right there. Some floaters. He had some floaters there. That's pretty encouraging. The face-up stuff was really intriguing. And I saw there's a couple Dirk fades in there as well. So the upside is there. I mean, that's a beautiful shot right there. Like that's a shot. If you want to be a number one guy, that's a shot that you're going to have at your disposal. And just thought it was interesting the way Duke used him. Duke used him in every way imaginable. They used him as a pick and roll ball handler. They used him as a screener. They used him, again, coming off of screens to shoot threes. They used him on post-ups. I mean, they did quite a bit. And this is it right here. Let me pause. This is it right here. And I want to scroll down to a number I saw in this article because it was actually very important, I think, to understand. Pick and roll ball handling. He had so many possessions as the pick and roll ball handler that it was a little bit shocking. I'm trying to find it. Fuck. This is why you should be a little bit more prepared when you do rambling videos. But this is part of the appeal of a rambling video. My ass just talks. Sometimes I just ramble and go on and on and on. And again, I said this. I'm still on painkillers. So, that's my excuse if things get a little bit, weird. Fuck, where were the numbers? Anyways, I think it was over 200. Over 200 possessions this year as a pick and roll ball handler. Just a huge number, man. A huge number. And that's something that I think just boosts his appeal as a potential go-to guy offensively for a team. Because we just know pick and roll is king in the NBA. And again, it's not, the handle's not really elite. But what he is great at is his jab step game is fantastic, by the way. His jab step game is fantastic out of a triple threat. His up fake game, his footwork is fantastic. He gets defenders leaning. He gets defenders up in the air all the time. But look at that Dirk fade right there. I know you guys saw that one. Hold on. Let's go back. I know you guys saw the Dirk fade. But it's his instincts as a basketball player, which makes his pick and roll game so interesting, is that he's great at attacking angles. He's great at reading help, and we'll get to that when we get to playmaking here in a bit. And his patience is also fantastic. A couple things that I really like from him is sometimes, there will be an aggressive ball screen coverage, right? Like they'll hedge, especially whenever a team hedges. Patience to keep your dribble alive and then wait for the defense to get set, wait for the defender to leave, and then continue your offensive possession. That's pretty high-level advanced shit for an 18-year-old. And these shots right here, coming off of a screen. One dribble pull-up. Defenses go under. They got to respect his ability to drive. They got to respect his ability as an athlete to finish above the rim. If you give him too much of a runway, that pull-up three. Butter. I mean, that's going to be huge. And not only that, not only the pick and roll, the possessions with him as a pick and roll ball handler, but Duke also used him as a screener and someone to screen and roll. And I love this for him. I fucking love this for him. And this is why, again, I think Dallas is such a good landing place for him. Why? Because I'm a fan of the team. No. Why? Because just the versatility that he has. And I think he'll get all of these opportunities with the Mavs. And it won't be, and I'm just not, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but it won't be like he's setting a screen and Tijani Saloon is in the corner. He's, it's going to be Derek Lively's going to be in the dunker spot if he's rolling in the short roll, and he's going to be setting a screen for Kyrie when he comes back. Or AD might be in the dunker spot, and you're going to have Klay Thompson in a corner. Like, there's just going to be so many great opportunities for him that I'm really excited about. But yeah, I mean, Duke used him as a roll man, and I really love this for him because we'll get to this in a second. His feel for the game is so good, and his connected playmaking is so fucking good that him as a roll man is chef's kiss. I love it. I love it, and I'm very hopeful that the Mavericks take full advantage of his skill set here. And we've seen them do this, and obviously it's a little bit different now. This would have been a dream with Luka on the team. But we saw it at times when defenses would trap Luka, blitz Luka, on especially on high ball screens. How often the Mavs liked using PJ Washington as a screener, because PJ is good in the short roll as well. I think Cooper Flagg will be much better than PJ Washington in the short roll. But how often they like doing that, because PJ is good in the short roll. And also that's why Derek Lively is as good as he is similar to his Duke brethren here, Cooper Flagg, Duke Lively. Jesus. Duke is a sick name. Why are people's names not Duke? I get that it's like a position in a court in England, but if I met someone named Duke, immediate aura boost, times 10. I'd probably bow down and kiss their finger. It's why Derek Lively is as impactful as he is because he's so good in the short roll, like so good. So the Mavericks spam pick and roll all the time, even with Luka gone. So this is an opportunity for Cooper Flagg. Another thing for Flagg too, and here's some pick and roll ball handling. The little drop off right there to the big, him in the short roll again, the playmaking in the short roll. Just these are basic reads. Don't get me wrong, but they're important reads to make. He's really good at finding roll man and big guys whenever he has the ball in screens. And again, playing alongside Derek Lively, Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford for the time being at the very least. He's going to get a ton of opportunities to find those guys. And even plays like this, which I also thought were incredibly impressive, manipulating defenders, right? This is one thing that he's really good at too. It's really subtle. He doesn't have a super flashy passing bag, What I found interesting is he does have like these live dribble skip passes in his arsenal, these live dribble one-handed passes with both hands. I think one of the things for him right now, and this is going to kind of sound weird as a criticism, but I've noticed this, is I think he needs to trust himself a little bit more. I think there's times where he's just trying to be too good of a teammate. That sounds crazy. That sounds like a cop-out. If I heard someone say that, I'd roll my fucking eyes. But I'm saying that because there are times where he'll like pick his dribble up in an effort to, all right, I feel like I've dribbled a little bit too much. Let me pick my dribble up and try to find a teammate. And that can get him into some trouble sometimes where I'd rather him just keep his dribble alive. Keep his dribble alive. He is a very capable passer, especially off live dribble. Keep your dribble alive and find a teammate that way and create for yourself and create an advantage that way. And I'm sure that's stuff that he'll learn in the NBA. Of course, stuff that he'll also improve on as his handle does improve, which it does. His handle has to improve. That's his biggest weak spot right now. Far and away is his handle. It has to get better. And it will. He's 18 years old. But again, manipulating the low defender right here. Just a quick little glance to the corner. Freezes the low man. Leads to a wide open dunk. I mean, that's next level stuff, folks. It just is. Good pocket pass right there. Like he's got such a good feel. Again, reading the defender. Look to the corner. This is just fucking terrible defense. I mean, Boston College is 9-8. No wonder. Guys are terrible. Sprint to the corner. Just leaves Malawak wide open under the basket. And it's another thing that he's really good at and adept at is passing out of double teams. He's got good patience there. I like that he doesn't freak out. I like that, when you have big jumbo playmakers like this, one of the things you want to see immediately, and this is something Luke is incredible at, but one of the things you want to see immediately is trust in your size. Double team comes, more likely than not, you're not getting double teamed by 2 7-footers, so you're going to have size advantage, and just, read the defense and make the pass out, right? No need to rush anything. No need to freak out. Read the defense, make the right read, make an accurate pass, and you'll be good to go. Again, manipulating defenders, right? You got one defender splitting 2 over here. Read the eyes. Don't look at my eyes. One glance to the corner. Defender goes that way. No look. Knipple. Knockdown. Bang! Also, he's got a great understanding of passing windows. That was one thing I noticed as well. Great understanding of passing windows and did a great job to set up those angles. I mean, he's a really exciting player, folks. He's a really exciting player. I'm like super pumped. Again, stuff like this. Double team comes, but I love it. No panic here. No panic on the double, right? Let's step through. Now we've got a defender fully committed. We're going to have a wide open shooter. Beautiful stuff. I just love that he doesn't speed up his game and doesn't panic. Again, same thing right here. Double team comes, pick up the dribble. That's fine. We're good. I don't need to rush this pass. Let me wait for this defender to close out. Pass fake. Boom. We're going to the corner, wide open 3. Just great patience right there. And I love any possession. Get him the ball in the middle of the floor. Good. Something good's going to happen. Something good's going to happen. Again, understanding passing windows, manipulating defenses. That pass isn't there right now. Now it is. Beautiful. Imagine Derek Lively in that spot. Derek Lively in the dunker spot. These are the ones that get me salivating. I love a skip pass. And he's got him in his arsenal. If you make a pass like this, I'll believe in you. Like straight up, if you make skip passes regularly and they're accurate and they're good defensive reads and they're on time, you have like a 5-year window for me. I'll believe in you for like 5 years. Then you have to show me something. Again, but I like his eyes up right here. Knipple's open. I'm assuming that's Knipple. I just see a white guy on Duke. I'm assuming that's Knipple. Knipple's open, and he sees it, and he knows it. But he's just waiting. He's waiting for a defender to commit. Now it's there. Knipple's going to be really fucking good. That's one thing I also noticed watching these. I'm all in on Knipple, by the way. All in. I just love these skip passes. When he draws 2. Double team. This one really impressed me. It's a basic read. I mean, it's there, and he's got the size to make it happen. This is a quick double on the catch, and he's not wasting any time. Boom. Skip. Accurate. Right in the shooter's pocket. Stand up next to you, and I'll defend this flag today. So, yeah, I'm super pumped. Again, hopefully you guys are even watching this video. If you made it this far, comment, I watched. If you made it this far, comment I watched, because that means I didn't get fucking copyright claimed on this. Copyright stricken down by copyright gods. One thing I wanted, this one's gone on quite a bit, so let me just wrap this up really quickly. You look at the roster here for the Dallas Mavericks. There's a lot of work to be done. Obviously, they need a guard. Kyrie Irving won't be back until probably best case scenario February. People tossed out like December. I would say All-Star break, I'd feel good. If Kyrie Irving is back by All-Star break, I feel like that's a good outcome for him. Obviously, I had Anthony Davis. They need to make a move for a guard. And I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know if it's going to be kind of a surprising, like, whoa, they kind of went all in. I don't know if they're going to try and take advantage of some of these teams looking to dump salaries, and maybe they go after Alonzo, or maybe they go after a Drew or Marcus Smart or something along those lines. Maybe they trade back into the first round and draft a guard, in the 20s, something along those lines. I don't know. But they'll need to get a guard. I've seen this. It's become a popular thing. It popped up again after the Grizzlies got 5 first-round picks for Desmond Bane. The Mavericks should just blow it up, get the most assets they can. I don't think they should do that. Now, if a team just blew you the fuck away in an offer for Anthony Davis, that's a different conversation entirely. Like if the Spurs were just like, you know what, man, fuck KD, AD's our guy, we'll trade second overall for him. That's a completely different conversation. But I love the idea of Cooper Flagg coming into the league in an environment like this. I just do. Is this team going to win a championship? No, probably not. Probably not. Will this team even win a playoff series? I don't know. It would depend on the matchup, probably. But I think this is a competitive roster. I think they have good, solid pieces. I think they have 2 really, really good all NBA level players at the top of their lineup, at the top of their order. Why am I talking like it's fucking baseball? In their rotation with Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving. But then you just have rock solid role players up and down it. I think this is a great environment for Cooper Flagg. And I think just having this roster for a year makes sense. If you want to maybe look into blowing it up a little bit next year, that's another thing. But I think it's important for him to play in a context like this, because it will give him the ability to play off of these guys, because that's like his superpower, is being this off-ball jumbo playmaker who can create for himself and is a good cutter and can drive and can attack closeouts and makes the right pass every single time and can hit threes. Him being like this supercharged glue guy, right? Is this great thing. And you need good players to maximize that. You need good players to maximize that. But also what makes this context so interesting for him is with the Mavericks' lack of guard depth, especially with Kyrie hurt, and with their need for creators, he's going to have responsibility there. It's not, but it's not going to be like on one of the dregs of the league, one of the bottom feeders, where it's like, yeah, just go out and shoot 28 times tonight. We don't fucking care. Go out and shoot 28 times. It's cool. It's going to be within the flow of the game, and there's going to be stretches where it's like, Cooper, go get us a bucket. Hey, Derek Lively will come up and set a screen for you. Go get us a bucket. Or, hey, you know what, Cooper, we want you to get the ball in the middle of the floor and make a play off of that. So, AD, bring the ball up and we'll have Flagg initiate a ball screen for you, because we've seen AD, obviously, handle the ball as a pick and roll ball handler. That's what really excites me. Anthony Davis, Cooper Flagg ball screens with Flagg setting the screen. Folks, fuck, I'm so excited. I really am. If it hasn't felt like I've been super excited, I haven't really allowed myself to. I'm all in. I think this kid's going to be, I don't know how the Mavericks got this lucky. I got to be real. I do know. Adam Silver, you enjoying that yacht? I paid for it.